Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I am the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. The session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. But before we begin today's session, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. So please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat section. I would now like to welcome Swami, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspiring software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swami to begin the session. Let me bring him into the stream.
Hey, Rashmita.
Hey, Swami.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
So I'll take over.
Yes, your screen is up, Swami.
Thank you so much. Okay. So hey guys, thank you so much for joining. This is my GitHub and all the speaker series and the code other URLs Rashmita will share. And again, let's take one quick minute to see where we are from the syllabus perspective. We were we have already completed 1, 2, and 6, and we are working on 3. And from the 3 perspective, from the 3 perspective, if you see, we have already completed analyze text and create Q&A and build CLU. We have seen that. So today will be working on custom text classification. So these things are going to come in future. So I myself will go through that syllabus and then prepare the samples and all those things. Okay. So that's about the syllabus. Will take time. We'll learn. Learning knowledge is the prime goal of our chase. With that being said, let's start this session. So today we'll be spending time on building custom text classification model. And key thing is I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. Demos are kept simple, and all the demos are the Microsoft's official syllabus demos. And I'm focusing purely on the AI syllabus. I mean, whatever the series which I'm going to talk is very specifically on the Azure flavored and anything which comes in Azure AI102 certification. So I didn't touch any of the other models. Slowly I'm learning, but primary focus is AI 102 and Azure flavored AI services. So that being said, let's start. I will work on this documentation. I was a little lazy. I didn't do that. So sorry for that. So let's start with this introduction and then we will go ahead. I mean, there'll be a mix and match between the text, but these all the sessions are demo heavy sessions. So let's start with this. This is also very similar. Some pieces are similar where we are getting a hold to create our own model, okay, train our model and then enhance it. So we did a lot of those things in the previous 2 sessions. We did it quite a few things, but this is a little bit different, but it will be very enjoyable session. So here we can see this, the processing, natural language processing, which we have seen that. In this very specific session, we'll be learning about creating the custom text classification project. Okay. So before going deep into the weeds, what we will do is we'll spend 1 minute time and see, this is everything is given by official Microsoft labs. So see, this is from MS Lab. I'm using their content. So we'll see a couple of articles are there here. So something about sports, footballers, or this again New York footballers, and this is glass shape, and this is something large dog kernel. Different things are there. This is they're speaking about singers, I assume. This is about some TV. So there are different environment, I assume. And let's see, this is one other articles. This is one other articles, and this is the news agency. And I think this looks like a news car accident, and or it could be entertainment if it is. Let's see. This is inflammation. It could be news or entertainment, and again we'll see quarterfinals. I think this looks like more like a sports. Here I'm seeing that. So there are some, and how do we classify this one? So that's the project which we'll be doing today. And let's see about this one. And where do we use this real use cases? While going, we will see that we can speak one or two use cases if I'm able to. So as we have seen that NLP, and in this very specific thing, we will be doing the custom classification. So if you see that, understand the types of classification project, and we'll build a custom text classification project, tag, train, and deploy, and submit the classification task. Okay, just I want to give a quick overview of that. Let me come to that. We will create a V1. We'll not use the existing one. I just tried it so that just wanted to see that if at all there is a stuck. I mean, last time when we were doing our session, we read somewhere in the documentation said that some of these things are in preview, so it might fail. So in that case, they asked us to come and redo that. So good that I faced it when I was doing this a couple of hours ago. So I faced it. So this is the model here. So we have some test data here. We can come and see this here, and we can put it, and we can run the test. So it can classify with, I mean, for some reason I see that it says as news, but for some reason, it clearly, I see the percentage of confidence it is giving you. It's not that it's not working. I executed it and I saw that, and it was giving pretty low. We will see that. Okay. And one more thing is, we'll just for one moment we will see, and then again we'll go back. Let's come to the labeling, and if we see something classified, article 3 is classifieds. Okay, so let's go to the article 3 inside the data. Let's pick up the article 3, and let's put that here in the testing ground. In the testing ground, that's classification, and let's run the test, and let's see how it is predicting. So classified, I mean, the confidence score is little low, I don't know, for some reason, but it is properly classifying this one. Okay, just wanted to see, I mean, where we can use this. Like there are hundreds of documents or thousands of documents or PDFs or something, where we can take those thousands of document and train it. It's not mandatory that we need to use the language studio. We do have the REST API functionality they have given, they exposed it. So we can use the REST API, and programmatically we'll be able to do this classification. But I'm just there will be multiple ways to do it. I'm just showing you whatever they have given. They have given everything. I mean, Microsoft, they gave the flexibility to upload the documents and then create the classes and then tag those articles with respective classes and train the model. And once you have trained that, then we can come back to the model performance and we can see the FN scores, precisions, and recalls. Okay. And someone, I'm just learning AI, so I'm little, definitely little weak in machine learning. I'm just started learning bits and pieces of machine learning also. I might be able to speak more about it, but the sample data, whatever we have at this point of time, is very, very low. It's only 13 documents. So you can see this, it's just a 13 document. So there'll be little bit of data, low data, because we should give sufficient data for it to predict. Okay. So that being said, without any further delay, let's jump in and start with this. Okay. So the first thing is we'll start with an introduction. Over here, we saw that. Let's go to the step 2 and step 3. And step 4 is purely hands-on. We'll jump to step 4 after this, and then we might come back to step 3 occasionally. So when we see about the classification projects, it could be single label classification or multi-label classification. That means a movie can come in a single genre, or it could have multiple genres. And okay, so similarly, a book can come in a single genre or multiple genre. So here, a document we can classify in a single with a single label, or we can classify with a multi-label. So when it is a single label, it is there are 1,000 documents, and each document will belong to a single class. I mean, the technical term which is used to the label is called class. Like adventure is a class, strategy is a class, and sports. Okay, the class is what we define and attach or label it to the asset. So in this case, it's a text file. And if it is a single label project, it will be easy. Like you have n number of documents, we have to label it or assign a class to it. One label or one class we need to assign. 1,000 files, 1,000 labels. It could be all 1,000 files of a single label, or 500 files of label A and 500 files of label B. It's like movies which we are categorizing. So if you have 1,000 movies, all 1,000 could be action movies, or 100 action movies, 200 comedy, and thriller 400. Okay, 4 plus 2 plus 1, 8, and 200 of suspense or horror movies. Like that, it's just single. Now, when it is a multiple label projects, that will little bit more work, because you can see that each one of this particular asset, whatever we are going to classify, will be given a single label. I mean, two movies can be of a single type. That means there will be two movies of action type, or multiple movies of a single genre. And if a movie belongs to multiple genre, then again there'll be a little bit of complexity while we have to deal with, because you know that it falls under two different things, and need to be a little bit careful in classifying that. Nothing else. That's the only thing. Okay, evaluating and improving your model. So evaluating and improving our model means we have 1,000, or let's keep very low. In our case, we had 13 files, not more than that, 13 files. So we can do a classification, train it, and evaluate the model. We have test playground or we can use the Postman tool also to evaluate. So we can do that, or multiple ways are there. We can use SDKs, or host number of chances are there, options for us. So let's assume that you are evaluating whatever the method it is, um, and you found that some of the things it is not giving us correctly. So we know that, okay, right now our model performance is not up to the expectation what we did it. So what we need to do is we need to go back and retrain the model. Okay, like false positives. So it predicts something, but we didn't assign that as a label. So sometimes false negative is it doesn't predict, but in fact it has been labeled like an action movie, but it predicted as comedy or something like that. Okay, so those are the three things which we have seen as part of the classification. Okay, these are for us it looks like a simple terms, and again we need to go deep into the machine learning to understand the recall of all actual labels, how many were identified, the ratio of true positives, and precision is how many of the predicted labels are correct, the ratio of true positives to all identity positives. FN score, the function FN score is the recall and precision. I think I pulled out some of the documentation from ChatGPT in the previous session and put it in the documentation. I mean, this session's documentation and the code I need to update it. I'm really lazy, so I could not achieve, and still I need to capture the last screen and couple of screens I need to put it. So it's pending, but I'll definitely do by tomorrow morning. This will be updated here in the mm, in this series. If you see, these three are there, and 21 session 21 will be here. That's I'll raise a pull request tomorrow. It will be up and running. Okay, that's cool. So that one we have seen API payload. I mean, this is what we were speaking about. This one, it's not mandatory that you need to always do this one from the mm, portal. You can use the APIs. I never tested it, but looks promising. So you have a language in the language code in the data set, and you can classify this. It shows the multi-class, and the previous sample it shows the single class. You can see that it's just a class, and here it is classes. So this particular document belongs to a couple of categories. Like you can see this, the category two category. This belongs to two categories. This belongs to a single category. This multi classification, and the other one was a single classification. And how to build a text classification project. I mean, we can see the life cycle of that, define the labels, tag the data, train the model, view the model, improve the performance, deploy, and classify. Here, the meaning of all those things are given. We will do it directly. And the training the data, training the model, always it is like a splitting the data, like 80-20. That's the rule. It's not rule, I mean everybody suggests 80-20. Now you can do 50-50 if you feel the data is quite large, like 10,000 rows. So you can use 50-50. Okay, 5,000 documents for test training and 5,000 to test it. Quite good. 5,000 for training, 1,000 to test, and you found the model is not performing good. Now make it 6,000, and then 6,000 and 4,000 for testing. Now then test the first 1,000. You feel that it's not performing good. Now make it 7,000 and 3,000. I mean, you can scientifically increase. It depends, or you can go blind. And I'm not, maybe I'm using a harsh word. You can go with confident 80-20. You can do that, or you can scientifically do 50% and 50, or 60-40, whatever works best based on the amount of data. Please understand that there should be a huge data. Okay, so we can have multiple models side by side, but if you see that, which I could not find in the previous one, we will see that one. While while we are testing it. Okay, um, that is there. And deployment option, and this is the REST API details they have given for all the things whatever we are doing with the studio, which we'll be able to do it with the APIs. Quite a good information given there, but please remember this is a step which we are going to do now. So the next one is exercise. So let's come back to this exercise and let's go to the top, and we'll see that's language resource, which should have the text classification. Okay, there's a small piece, little bit different. I'll create it, but I can dismantle it at any time. So what I'll do is I'll go back to this resource group. I'll create the three. Come back to this one, create, and search for language service. Search for language service, and from the language service you can select it, the language service. Previously we selected these two, we can select these two, or if it is specifically the custom text, we can unselect if you are not intending to use this for custom Q&A, or we can keep it on, and we can come in here, and here we will specify the region name and all those things. Custom question answering, the search, only the first one they will give us free, and the second one if we try it will fail. Anyways, we'll see that. Delete me. Okay, and it's not showing the F1 because we have already used the F1. And here we can create a new storage account, give some name to the storage account, and delete me storage account, and the type is LRS. And I mean, this will not work because I know, I just wanted to show you what is the difference. This hooking up the storage account is a little different. So let's go and create it. So there's a validation because we created 001. For that, we used Azure Search, a free tier. So it gives one free tier in this resource group, and that we already consumed. Like if you go to the validation, it says that quota, it's already, we have used it. So it will not allow. The only thing I wanted to show you guys that couple of things I want to show you. One thing is about this, and the second one is about the storage account. So I already created it, so I will discard this. So let's see what we have created. We have created this language. Let me not go to the language studio. Let me come back to, this is the previous one, 001. You will see, if you go to the features, you can see that what has been enabled, and this we can see the custom text classification and custom name entity recognition, that's there. And I can come back, and this is the one I just created this noon, today noon. So we can come back and we'll see that. Okay, so that is there. And as usual, you can see that this has been hooked up with a search service, this one, and also the storage account has been hooked up to this one. So that's good. Let's come back to the documentation. We saw this one. Pricing tier 0 is not available because we already created. It took S. And in the storage also, we have either we can create new one or keep it, use an existing one. Better to keep it because all our AI projects will group everything within a single resource group. It's better to create its own this thing, like something for CLU or something for another project, have a separate storage account. It's better. We are not stepping on other stores. So here the rules for the user is very important. So let's come back to this and we'll see. We have created the storage account. Let's come back to the storage account. We can go to IAM and we can add the custom role. And inside the custom role, we can select this storage blob contributor. We can select that, and then we can go to the next, and inside the next we can select it and assign it. So I already did that. I just wanted to show you under the role assignment. If you see Swami, my name, and you can see I have given this permission, this role. Okay, so if you see that, if we don't give this, we'll get 403. So we have to give that. So the next thing is upload the samples. So for this, upload the samples. So for this, what we will be doing is we need to go to the storage account, and under the settings, we'll have the configuration. And inside this configuration, allow blob anonymous access. Okay, so the configure container access. This is permitted to configure like a freehand kind of thing. So we should be uh, little bit careful when we are giving such kind of this thing. Instead, we need to use SAS with expiry, but this is a sample project. We are using it, but be extra cautious when you're doing something like that. So that we set anonymous access here. We said allow blob anonymous access here. And then the next thing is we need to go to the container. We need to create a container. We'll go to the Storage Explorer browser, and let's see that what else is being used in this. So I just clicked on tables. There are nothing in the tables, nothing in the queue, and there's nothing in the file share except that in the blob there is something. Under I mean, dollar logs is it's internal. We will not touch it. The another folder what we created is articles. So that's the one which we created, and it has got this permission, access anonymous level. Like if you create a try to do another if you try to create another container here, container name here, we have taken container anonymous read access for container and blobs. So within that container we are giving uh, read access for the blobs. That's one thing. So be a little cautious if it is a production grade application. There should be tightening which IPs should be able to access it, and it should get the SAS token before accessing it. So it's all whether it should be public or within the specific VNets. Everything will come into the picture. So together as a team, architects and the operations team, they will decide. But this is a sample one. We will work like this. And then what we will do is we'll come back and select this and click on the upload and select the folder where we have the files, and we will upload it. So here the files are here. So again, I select all these things and open it and overwrite if the file exists. I click on upload, and within few seconds it will upload that. And again, we'll come and we'll see that it has uploaded the files. What is this? Okay, that's the labels. We'll create the labels also for that. So we'll come back. We'll come to that in a minute. So the next step is we have uploaded the data. Now we need to create a custom text classification project. Okay, as we have seen in the documentation, we can use the Studio or we can use the REST API. And here, just to avoid some confusion, or I was confused, I don't know, but I used now right now we have two endpoints, isn't it? Two language services. If I come back to the resource group, This was the previously we used this one. If you go and see in the studio itself, we'll see in the studio itself. Let me select that. Just want to select the separate one. Let me select 001. See that that's free tier. So if I select, we'll see that two previous projects, the clock, CLU, and custom question answering, these two. And now if I see, come back to this one, the language studio, I just use the 002, the new language resource which we created. See this, it's switching back. So let me go back to the paid, it's F0 free tier. Now I'll come back to this one. Okay, this is one. So we'll create. Let's give it a minute. Okay, that's one. So let's go back to custom text classification, create a new project. It will definitely choose this one, select the project type. Again, it's a single classification, enter the basic information, the project name, as previously we'll call V1, and primary text is English US, and let's use the description custom text lab. We'll use that lab V1, and let's do next and choose the blob container. I don't know whether it will fail or not, because two projects using the same container. If it fails, we'll see, but let's go ahead with this. Here, when I in the previous screen, when I selected it, threw an error, but not now. Everything looks good. So after doing that, choose the container. We just did that. Now we need to create these 4 labels. So you can come back here and just add those 4 labels. That's classified. This is sports. I mean, doing this kind of things, doing with API will be good, but at least to give that a shot or to understand the nitty gritties of this project, it will be better to do it manually and then do it. So after doing that, we created it. So then it is easy. We can see that article 1 is sports. Article 1, when it's a toggle 1, article 1 is sports. Just click on that. And 10 and what is that? 10 and 12 is news. So 10 and 12 is news, and 11 is entertainment. 11 is entertainment, and 13 and 2 both are 13 and 2 both are sports, and 3 and 4 are classified. 3 and 4 are classified, and 5 and 6 are entertainment. 5 and 6 belongs to entertainment. And if you see 7, 8 news and 1 entertainment. 7 and 8 is news, if I'm correct, yes. And this one is entertainment. Okay, then we need to do a save labels. So once everything is done, we need to save the labels. Now it's the time of the train your model. So classify articles is a model name, and we will train. And here in your classification project, the Azure AI service will automatically split the testing set by percentage, which is useful with large data set. With smaller data set, it is important to train the right class distribution. So here, if you see that, select use a manual split for training. This it is not allowing us. So let's see that. So this data labeling, and this is the training job. So I'm starting the training job. This I'll give this name, and see this. This is disabled. I mean, I'm trying to go and see that manual splitting isn't available because there aren't any documents in this testing sets yet. So let's do this manual, I mean, automatic split. We'll do that. So it's not going to take huge time, maybe less than, see this, it took only 6 seconds. So less than 30 seconds it's going to take it. So you can see that it just took 6 seconds. So the next training is also done. Evaluate your model is, we can come here. Oh, sorry. Model performance. You need to go. This is completed. Oh, okay. I think it's not. It didn't give us the control. Uh, we'll wait for a couple of seconds because it needs to show us the model. So something like this. Let me come back to the previous one, the classification lab. So if you come in here, and see the model, it should show the model performance. Okay, now it is, looks like now it is complete because it should say training is succeeded. Now if you go to the model, it shows the model performance here. Okay, you can see this confusion matrix. As I mentioned, I'm just tipping my toes in the waters in ML. So I will refrain from speaking about the things which I don't know. So at least here we will see this recall, precision, FN score, and confusion matrix, and all these things. Then what we need to do is we need to deploy this one. So for the deployment, we can do testing also, which wasn't mentioned there, but additionally, we do have the data. We can try this one. And United Stars looks like a movie. Let's see. We do have. We didn't do deployment. Oh yeah, I'm sorry for that. So we can do the deployment model, and here we'll select the model which we train, and let's deploy this. Okay, now let me see that. Okay, so that's the model which we have deployed. So prediction URL will give the URL, but at least we can come back over here and select the article, and let me go back to the test file which is there. We'll select this test file and run the test. Same set of files. It's sports. Okay, that's cool. Let's go back to there's a V1, isn't it? Whatever we tested. Yeah, it's in the V1. So let me go to the previous model which I tried some time ago. So let me use that. See this is the previous one. And let me run the test. $34. Okay. So sports, cool. So it's giving the model we were able to evaluate also a little bit, not a big thing, but we were able to evaluate. Now, when it comes to how to test this in Visual Studio Code, so what we can do is here, let me close all these things. I mean, I need to move that into service as of today because lack of time, I just created it here itself. So we can see we are validating the endpoint service. I was validating the wrong endpoint and wrong classification key. So that was my mistake. Okay. So let's come back to the base code, what is already given in Microsoft. Let's see that in C Sharp. This is the code which is already given. So the first piece is reading the content from the app settings file. That might turn out to be a little bit uh, danger to have this here. So I always use the secrets JSON, which is outside the source code location. So I use that. But in the example JSON, I will give it, but I have to update with these two things. So this is the same project. I'll be adding more code. In coming days, I'll be adding more. And here you can see for today's this custom text classification, endpoint, key, and the project name and the deployment name, because I've created a new 002 for this instead of using the 001 where we had the Q&A project. But here I just created a new one. So I just added endpoint and its project name. And I think somewhere in Q&A, I think we hard coded the project name. I don't remember where, but I'm sure we hard coded the project name, yeah, here. Technically, that should go into a separate project in this configuration, so that like this deployment name, you should have the project name, question and answer project name, and question and answer deployment name. Similarly, it should have the Q&A, I mean this CLU project name and CLU deployment name. So that I need to do it. I will do it a little later, but let's go ahead with this code. So they have given it, and we can come back here. So those steps, it is here. And oh, before that, I forgot we need to do test it with the postman. So I jumped the queue. Let me come back to this one. So if you see here, we tested this. Once you deploy this, what we can do is once the model has been deployed, you can select the model and click on get prediction rule. I'm not clicking on it because it flashes my key. So that's the reason I'm not flashing it. So click on that, it gives data. At least I'll pull the screen print and put it, striking of the key. Rest it will be good. So that what it will happen is it will be like this. This URL is already there, and it will be language text analysis jobs. So it will be happening in two different uh, two different steps, not in a one different step. I think en is English. Okay. And what we will do is we'll go back where we tested out. Okay, I'll come back to the this one in the articles where I'll see that is there an article. I'll come back here and that 4 minutes and in Seattle. I'll just use these two sentences. Okay, so I'll send this. So technically it is making a call. It says accepted. And once it is accepted, I will go back here. And inside this accepted, under the headers, you'll see the location. And that location has got this GUID, copy that GUID, and I can come back here because I already keyed in the um, subscription key. That's the reason I'm not doing anything. I'm coming here. I'll replace this location and I'll send it the request. So it says that it is succeeded, one task completed, and you can see that it is categorizing us as sports because that's what we tagged it. I mean, you can do a we can do a we can do a little bit of modifications to the text, but it's mapping properly. So it takes two calls. So the first call is where you submit it. I mean, this I'm using the previous one. I'm not using the latest one. You can see that classify lab, it's not V1. It's just classify lab, the previous one. So I just wanted to show you like the first call, whatever we hit it, it will be post call. And inside the headers, it gives us a location where the job is. So we need to make an asynchronous call and see what the status of that. Is it completed or is it running or is it failed? So you can see that the first one is 202 accepted, and the get request, that's the second call where we go and read the status and the information about that, that is 200. So that was the second piece which I second piece after training the model. Get the prediction URL, you can test it, and once you get this one, now the sky is the limit. Like we can do it in C Sharp or Java, Python, curl. Okay, so anything like Fedler and HTTP files, whatever you want to do, we can do that. Now let's see this code. So the base code, whatever which was given here, we will come back and see the base code. So the base code is first, it is doing the app settings, but we have enhanced it little bit. We are reading the app settings and loading it in this strongly typed class. And after that strongly typed class, in the I extension host, we are reading the app settings as well as the secrets. Add JSON file, add user secrets. We are using the user secrets because inside the app settings or app settings example, we are not storing anything. We are storing everything in the secrets.json. Here it's there so that if someone pulls this code and want to give that a shot, they know that what is that they have to fill it. That's the only reason. So if you come back and see in the program CS, that's the first piece. And let's go back to the documentation C. Next thing is text analysis. We already did the text analysis, so that is already available. Okay, NuGet package is already available, so we don't need to do anything new from the packages perspective. And then we know that articles folder, we had a lot of articles, so I just pushed all those articles under the analysis. Under the articles, there are different articles which are here. So those articles are we have put in there. We'll import the namespace. I mean, I'll be moving the code from program.cs to different services, each service representing a demo. So I'm going to move this as a CTC, custom text classification, a class file. But for the time being, I'll keep it here. But by tomorrow, I just want to move that. And we are bringing in these properties, where we added these inside the classes over here. So that will be easy for us to do that. And the next thing, what we do is we create the credentials, and this piece of the code also we already tested. So you can see that we create it with this text analysis. And then the next thing is get the classification. And this piece of the code, which was already given to us, and get the classification, that's the only thing. You can see that text analytics, single label, classify async. So we are saying that classify async, batch documents the project name and the deployment name. We are passing that all to this. Okay, and then we're traversing through this operation. You can see that operation here, classify document operation. So when you see that, that's a task of single label classify async. It returns the task classify document operation, and within this operation we get the value, and here it's a paged output, and we are getting the document result. So if you see this is the document results. We go and we see the file name and also some of the predictions. So now I'll execute this. Let's wait a minute. Okay, it already hit that. So what I'll do is I'll just place the cursor here so that we'll see a little bit step by step. So let me execute that. So it has created the client. We can see the client, and then we will read all the files. I'll do an F5, and we are here, and then we will do an F10. So it takes a few seconds because we have 13 files, so it has to do a batch processing. It took less time, and then we will be able to see the output of each of those classification. We'll see for one file. So we say documents in a page, the 13 documents, and you can see that. So each and every document here has got inner, you can see that it has got its statistics or the warnings. It doesn't have anything. The count is 1. We can get deep into the weeds to find out. So it has got the category. Now you can go and look into each object, where you can see that the classification categories, because this is a single category project, so it returns a single one. If it is a multiple categories, it will give this. So you can see that it categorizes that particular document. So we'll come inside. In the document result, you can see that the same, whatever you have seen. We have seen that as a list of the document result. This is speaking about a single document. It doesn't have any errors. It's false. And from the prediction perspective, we'll see that what is very important for us to know whether which category it belongs and what is the confidence score. So I'll just click on F5 and I'll stop, because this is the other 3 things which we will come and we'll see that it nicely displays all this one. Just we'll do one quick check. Let's go back to the labeling. Let's go back to the labeling. Article 1 is sports, and 10 is news, and 11 entertainment, and 12 and 13, 12 is news, correct, and 13 is sports, 13 and 2. So if you see 13 and 2 are sports, and 3 and 4 are classified. 3 is classified, 4 is classified, and 5 and 6 are entertainment. 5 and 6 belongs to entertainment. And in the next page, if we go and navigate this, 7 and 8 are news. 7 and 8 are news. Ninth one is entertainment. That's it. Okay. So that with this, we have concluded this module. So one, two, three, four, we have concluded. So next will be custom named entity, followed by translate text and speech enabled apps and speech with Azure speech. So there's a lot of action for us to go ahead. Uh, Thank you so much, Rashmita. Back to you, Rashmita.
Thank you, Swami, so much for hosting this session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please visit Microsoft Reactor website for more upcoming sessions. Also, we would appreciate your feedback on today's session as it will help us to curate future sessions. Please scan the QR code with the event ID 24855. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Good night, folks.